Transit here at the City of Burlington. And I'm welcoming you to our beautiful facility and to beautiful Burlington. The sun is out and we're very excited. So before we begin, I'd just like to do a land acknowledgement. Burlington, as we know it today, is rich in history and modern traditions of the First Nations and the Métis. From the Anishinaabe to the Haudenosaunee and the Métis, our lands spanning from Lake Ontario to Niagara Escarpment are steeped in Indigenous history. The territory is mutually covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Iroquois Confederacy, the Ojibwe, and other allied nations to peacefully share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. We would like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is part of the treaty lands and the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. I would like to welcome all of you, all our guests, Honorable Karina Gould, Josipa Petronic, and Councillor Rory Nissan. I'm going to invite the Honourable Karina Gould, Leader of the Government House of Commons and Member of Parliament for Burlington, on behalf of Honourable Sean Fraser, Minister of Housing, Infrastructure and Communities, to the podium.
Great, thank you, Catherine, and good morning, everyone. What a beautiful day we have for today's announcement. I'm so delighted to be here this morning. I'm really delighted to be here with my friend and colleague, Councillor Rory Nissan, who's also the Deputy Mayor for the Environment here in Burlington, as well as CHCH's President and CEO, Josipa Petronic, as well as our many other distinguished guests, and of course everyone from Burlington Transit, because you're the ones that are going to be making this a reality. So I would first like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is part of the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. Our government remains focused on building a brighter future and a more prosperous, more resilient, and more sustainable Canada for everyone. We continue to take strong climate action, grow our economy, and create good, middle-class jobs across the country. Vehicles on the road account for roughly 20% of total greenhouse gas emissions in Canada. To reach our ambitious emissions reduction target of net zero by 2050, we need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in the transportation sector. As we keep making progress in the area, we must take further steps to support net zero emission transit infrastructure. That is why our government continues to make significant investments in zero emissions transit infrastructure in communities throughout the country. So today, I am excited to announce that our government is investing $372,000 to support planning activities for Burlington's transition to zero-emission buses. This project will assist with the city's development of feasibility, implementation, and market studies to support future procurement and deployment of zero-emission buses and related infrastructure. Taking steps to adopt zero-emission buses will contribute significantly to reducing the City of Burlington's emissions. In March 2022, our government announced our partnership with CHCH to give transit operators the support they need to transition to zero-emission buses and more sustainable technologies. CHCH will work directly with the City of Burlington to complete planning work, sharing their knowledge and supporting readiness to transition to these zero-emission transit bus fleets. Millions of Canadians rely on public transit to get to and from work, school, access services, or to see friends and families or have access to leisure in the community. By investing in public transit, we are reducing emissions, better connecting our communities, and making it easier for residents to get around town. Since 2015, our government has made historic investments in public transit to build cleaner communities across the country. And projects like this one are integral to the well-being of our communities by helping to keep our air clean, creating good jobs, and meeting the needs of local residents. As we address the needs of growing communities like Burlington, we are also delivering real benefits to Canadians by investing in our public transit systems. Projects like this mean Canadians will spend less time commuting and more time doing the things they love. By working closely with our partners, we can build the future we want while taking strong climate action, strengthening the economy, and bolstering communities. Together, we will make bigger strides towards our common goal of a greener, more inclusive Canada. And when we invest in infrastructure, we're creating stronger communities and investing in the well-being of Canadians today and for generations to come. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you, Minister Gould. I would like to invite Rory Nissan, Councillor and Deputy Mayor for the Environment of the City of Burlington, to the podium.
All right. Good morning, everyone. As mentioned, I'm Rory Nissan, Ward 3 Councillor and Deputy Mayor for the Environment, which includes transportation in Burlington. So it is an exciting day, and I'm so pleased to be here with you for this Zero Emission Transit Fund announcement. And I want to thank Infrastructure Canada and the Government of Canada for these funds for CHCH to look at zero emission solutions for Burlington Transit. Now, the city's been working with CHCH to develop green solutions for quite a while, actually, but this funding is going to help take it to the next level. And as part of our climate action plan, the city is committed to transit as an environmentally friendly way to help residents in our growing city get around. So on behalf of the city, I want to thank our MP, Karina Gould, as well as MP Pam Demoff in Burlington, as well as MP Adam Van Couverden. They all support the city's efforts to reduce our carbon footprint. We've seen that in many announcements in recent years. And I know they believe in making Burlington Transit a great green transportation option for our residents. And I also want to give a shout out to our Burlington Transit team, every member, from the drivers to those who are working in the building here. You are serving our residents to get us where we need to go. I've been on the bus 4 times this week with my son and had a great experience with the drivers helping us get the stroller on. They're patient, they're caring, and they're on time. So I really appreciate that. So we're all going to be working together to reach our goal of Burlington becoming a net carbon zero community by 2050. At this point, 16% of the city's fleet is electric or hybrid, and we have plans to increase this greatly and support CHCH's recommendations on how we can do that with our buses. And we in Burlington know that we can only improve the environment for generations to come if we're all acting together on these types of initiatives towards carbon neutrality. So together we can all reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and our carbon footprint, and that will be because of the people who are here today. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor. I'd like to invite Josipa Petronuc of CHCH to say a few words.
Canadian flag. All right. Okay. So welcome and thank you so much to MP Gould and to your government, actually. I mean, it's really made it possible to start to transform transit across the country. I want to share with you a few insights that we've come to realize over the course of the last few weeks, couple years. As Councillor Neeson also knows, we've been here in Burlington for several years trying to figure out how do you get electric buses out in a community like this to make them work without running out of power and to make them work in a way that's not going to break the bank either. So some of the things we've come to realize is it's really complicated, like super, super complicated. And so the announcement today is really about getting the next level of planning out the door in Burlington in partnership with London for the first time ever in Canadian history of a joint procurement of electric buses and a turnkey solution. And without the leadership that Burlington's provided in doing this, we really would be eons behind. And just to give you an example about what I mean, in this initiative, it's part of CHCH and also CUTZEB. CUTZEB stands for the Canadian Urban Transit Zero Emissions Bus Joint Procurement. And for about 2 years, we went around the country to OC Transpo and to Metrolinx and to Saskatoon Transit and to Calgary and to Winnipeg Transit. And we basically asked everybody, if you had to buy electric buses tomorrow, could you do it? And the answer was generally no, because it's not just about buying a bus. You have to buy all the chargers and all the electrical and all the systems that go along with it. So it's really, really complicated. And out of that, we came up with this idea, led by Burlington and London in partnership, that we could get together cities, jointly purchase this stuff, drive up the volume, drive down the cost, but also get together a bunch of private companies that would make sure it all works. And to give you an example of how that complexity comes into reality, sometimes when we're doing the work here in Burlington, or like any other city, we might see that, you know what, the best place for these electric buses to go is at the mall, let's say at the parking spot at a mall, but the mall owner doesn't want the buses there. Or you've got a whole bunch of buses crisscrossing at a certain intersection. That makes a lot of sense from the laws of physics to put some chargers there, but there's no electricity. These things are not insignificant, they're not immaterial, so thank you to the federal government for stepping up a couple years ago and now deploying that money to say, you know, this is going to take a lot of math, a lot of physics to sort it out, and that's exactly what we're doing. And out of this whole initiative, I hope to be here next year, maybe at the end of the year, announcing that we're moving forward with hopefully 4 electric buses and some chargers here at Burlington to get the first deployment out the door. The second thing that we've learned out of this whole process is cleaning up the environment is really difficult too. Somewhere, somebody right now is asking Doug Ford about the green belt versus housing. That's happening. And for several years, as MP Gould can attest to, you know, Canadians were upset trying to figure out, why are we investing in pipelines and trying to invest in the environment? It's because as Canadians, we have not, we've been investing in carbon intense economies, and we ourselves have been inconsistent. So it does make sense that cleaning it up is going to be really difficult because we've done inconsistent things in the past. And so not surprisingly, polluting the earth has been cheap. Cleaning it up is going to be really complicated, really expensive, and nobody has the exact right answer. Today, though, we do have one answer, which is we are cleaning up the earth one bus at a time. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to be here in upcoming months showing how it's possible to do the environment, the economy, and the ecosystem in a way that makes jobs, gets people moving, and especially in Burlington, where we know a lot of people are going to be moving, a lot more immigrants are coming in, and they're going to need housing and connections to the big cities. And we've had historically large car ownership in this city. We know that if we can do this stuff in Burlington, we can do it anywhere in the country. And that's going to take us just to the next step as Canadians in actually figuring out this really complicated, really intense climate action strategy that we all need to live in the kinds of cities that we want to live in. So thank you to the federal government. Thank you to the city for consistently being committed to a climate emergency and not making it abstract. And thank you to Catherine as the leader of a transit agency where you always still have the choice to do nothing, and you've chosen to do something difficult, complicated, but we know with your leadership we're going to be able to have the solutions out the door. Thank you.
Thank you, Josipa. The representatives will be available after the event for questions. According to my schedule, we have to do a group photo. So
Sure.